Hello, and welcome to another episode in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. My name is Jason Perkins. I'm an attorney who specializes in handling Georgia workers' compensation cases. I created this series of videos to provide people who've been hurt at work in Georgia with helpful information about Georgia's workers' compensation laws and the benefits they should receive under those laws. Now, let's jump straight into today's topic. Today, I'd like to talk to you about how workers' compensation insurance adjusters communicate with doctors. And the first thing for us to address is why does it even matter if the workers' compensation adjuster or anybody else at the insurance company is communicating with your workers' compensation doctors? It matters because things don't normally go the way they should in a Georgia workers' compensation case. You just want to get the treatment that you need to get better and go back to work. But the workers' compensation insurance company may not want that. Your medical treatment costs them money. And so they're going to try to make that medical treatment and testing cost as little as possible. And so you have to worry about their communications with your workers' compensation doctors. So, when do workers' compensation adjusters communicate with doctors? Well, one time they communicate with doctors is a time that you may actually need them to do that. And that's when they're giving approval for treatment or testing that the workers' compensation doctors recommended. Under Georgia's workers' compensation law, your authorized treating physician, that's your main workers' compensation doctor, or doctor to whom your authorized treating physician has referred you, is supposed to be able to order medical treatment and testing that you need as a result of your workers' compensation injury. And the insurance company is supposed to pay for it. But medical providers, doctors, hospitals, other medical facilities are not going to provide the treatment that's been requested unless they know they're going to get paid for it. They want to make sure they get paid for the work they do. So until they hear from the workers' compensation insurance company or someone else that they're going to be paid for that treatment, they're not going to move forward with it. They're going to want to get approval from the workers' compensation adjuster first. Now, here, it can often be difficult to get the adjuster to actually communicate with the doctor or other medical provider. You may spend some time, or your attorney on your behalf may spend time trying to get that communication over to the doctor, approval to the doctor, so the doctor will move forward with doing the treatment or testing. There are some tricks that can be used here and some forms that can be filed to make that move more quickly. But again, this is one of the times that you actually want the adjuster to communicate with a doctor. Let's talk about some of the times where you're going to be concerned about the adjuster communicating with a doctor. The adjuster may be communicating with a doctor about your work status. Can you go back to work? It's fairly common for an adjuster to ask a doctor whether you can return to full duty work without restrictions. Under Georgia's workers' compensation law, if the doctor says that and you're receiving workers' compensation wage loss benefits, those wage loss benefits will probably going to be stopped when the doctor says that. The adjuster, if they're not able to get the doctor to say you can do full duty work without restrictions, they might try to get some sort of light duty or modified duty work status from the doctor as opposed to a no work status. Again, there are situations where this happens and it can affect the amount of your wage loss benefits. Sometimes the insurance company can file a document called the Form WC 104 that's going to, at some point, reduce the amount of your weekly workers' compensation check down the road. It's not immediate, but again, it's something you have to worry about down the road. Since workers' compensation checks amount in Georgia are fairly low as they are, that check amount gets reduced, it can be extremely difficult to survive on the amount of your workers' compensation check. So this is one of the situations you need to worry about the workers' compensation adjuster communicating with your doctor. Another situation is what I would call causation opinions. So in workers' compensation cases, the insurance company is required for paying for medical treatment or testing that you need because of the workers' compensation injury. So it's not unusual for the insurance company to try to ask the doctor whether certain treatment or testing you need was caused by the workers' compensation injury that you had. One place where this happens is when you've hurt multiple body parts. So the insurance company may agree that you hurt one part of your body in the work-related accident, but dispute that you hurt some other part of your body. So they may agree that you hurt your shoulder, but dispute that you hurt your neck. They may agree that you hurt your neck, but dispute that you hurt your low back. And so they ask the doctor or send questionnaires to the doctor trying to get opinions stating that they're not responsible for treating certain parts of your body. Another common situation where this happens is when you've had some sort of previous injury to the same part of your body as is injured in the workers' compensation case. The insurance companies will often try to argue that what you've had is what's called an aggravation of a pre-existing condition. And when this happens, they often try to get the workers' compensation doctor to say that the aggravation of the pre-existing condition has resolved or that your condition has returned to baseline. Because if they can get the doctor to say this, they can essentially get off the hook for that workers' compensation injury moving forward. So they'll often send questionnaires or have conversations with the doctor about whether this has happened. Now, one other thing that you need to be concerned about is the nurse case manager that the insurance company has hired in your workers' compensation case having communications with the workers' compensation doctor. It's fairly common under some changes in Georgia's workers' compensation law that the workers' compensation insurance company may hire a nurse case manager to work on your workers' compensation case. And this nurse case manager may attend doctor's appointments and have conversations with the doctor or other medical providers about your case. There are limits on what nurse case managers can do, but the thing to remember is they've been hired by the workers' compensation insurance company. So you may have concerns about whether the nurse case manager's communications with the workers' compensation doctor are going to affect the workers' compensation benefits that you should receive. Getting treated fairly under Georgia's workers' compensation law can be difficult. If you have concerns about whether you're going to be treated fairly, one of the best things to do is reach out for help before things go bad. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. If you have, please consider two things before you go. First, I'd really appreciate if you give this video a like or a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to this channel if you'd like to be notified of future videos in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. Second, if you've got workers' compensation questions, please reach out to get answers. I offer free consultations in Georgia workers' compensation cases. If you'd like to set one of those up, there's two easy ways you can do so. The first is by calling the phone number at the bottom of the screen, and the other is by reaching out to us through our website, which is www.perkinslawtalk.com. Just click on and submit the pre-consultation request form there, and a member of our team will reach out to you and get a consultation scheduled. I'd like to thank you again for watching this video today. I'd like to wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injuries.